It's not him. It's not him.
Who then?
Okay, I'm here with Kate Patel, and before we talk about Scalper, I gotta say you were awesome in Pig Killer, just for the record.
Oh,
I,
thank you.
I thought you did a fantastic job, and I talked to Chad about that last month, and he gave me some pretty cool information on that, how you originally were gonna want to play the killer, which would have been insane. But I gotta say you did a great job on Scalper too. I like the fact that you played this really badass detective with an attitude. I really liked how you portrayed that character.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a cool shift. One of the joys of acting is that the taking on different roles and exploring that.
So my first question is, I know you worked with Chad on Pig Killer, but how'd you get to work with him on Scalper?
Yeah, good question. So yeah, I worked with him on Pig Killer. We were introduced through my friend and producer, casting director Jeff Olin. Pig Killer went great, and then Chad just rolls them out. He's like pretty much right after he's done one, I mean, sometimes even before he's on to the next. So he was writing Scalper pretty much like right after the Pig Killer was done. And I think because we just worked together, he also had Jake Busey in mind, who I co-starred with in the Pig Killer.
Mhm.
So I think he had this idea of us doing this film together as again in a different film together again. So that was sort of how that happened, which was kind of cool. It was a totally different dynamic that I got to explore with Jake.
Yeah.
Uh,
And what's interesting is, even though it was a different dynamic, you two, I felt like you had the same chemistry as you did in Pig Killer, where in Pig Killer, you were like the potential victim and he was this crazy killer. Now here you are working together as two detectives, and you mesh really well because he's more laid back. His character is more laid back, and he comforted Clementine, where you have this grudge against her.
yeah.
Yes. And throughout the film, we could see like you just still have this grudge against you, like against her, and because you blame her for the death of your character's dad. And so my question is, what was it like working with Susan Priver, who played Clementine? Because while Jake got to be the nice guy, he got to be the good cop. In a way, you were like the bad cop.
Yeah, she's fantastic. I mean, as a person, I love Susan. I find her very extremely talented professional. And then working with her in the role was fun for me, because she is so professional. I feel like I got to explore that dynamic with her, of not being such a nice guy around her. Um, and yeah, I mean, Jake got to be I felt like it was sort of this good cop, bad cop dynamic a bit, it was fun. It was fun to explore that, and Susan's great to work with. So
That's
yeah.
awesome. And also this one, I mean, I'm a huge fan of Joe Castro's special effects. He did the kill scenes were insane in this one. I thought Pig Killer had some crazy like kill scenes. This one, like he upped the ante. Chad clearly upped the ante with this by getting Joe Castro. And I know since you played a detective, you had to, see like the aftermath of this. What was that like for you in a way? Was that like haunting, or like, holy cow, this is like really good? What was
In terms of the special effects behind the scenes sort of a
yeah,
thing.
yeah,
Um, I was totally new to like horror films before the Pig Killer, and I think I saw a bit of what goes on behind the scenes in the Pig Killer. I was like a little, nervous about all this blood and gore and all of that stuff, because I'm not a huge horror movie fan per se, but um meeting Joe and seeing like how he's just the nicest guy. Joe is just, and he's so passionate about what he does.
yeah,
And he's so warm and like, but he's making all these like hideous, like, body parts that have been whatever. Like it's just, his mind is really, goes to places that I can't even fathom, in doing that. And, but I see his passion for his creativity. And so that sort of gave me a different twist on when I saw the blood and the thing coming, like, I was like, oh, Joe loves the shine on that blood and the, you know, whatever. It's like, it brought a different perspective than if I were just to have seen it with not knowing the person who made it, if that makes sense. It's
Yeah,
it's kind of cool in a way, because it like it helps me not be so disturbed by it, knowing, you know, this person who makes it is so. And I think that he said, I mean, I'm sure he would reveal this openly if he were to be asked, but I don't think he's a, he told me he has trouble watching really gory horror movies, which is interesting because he makes these really gory effects. So yeah, I think, yeah.
that's funny you said that, 'cause that's reminded me of, because Joe worked on That's a Wrap last year, which was a fantastic horror film. And I talked to one of the co-stars, and she pretty much said the same thing you did. She's like, I am not a huge horror fan. Matter of fact, I do these horror films, but when I'm watching a horror film, I get so scared. Like I'm like the last person who will watch a horror movie, because I freak out when I see like the littlest thing happen. So I just
Yeah,
and I
isn't
just
it interesting?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
quite like ironic that actors do horror movies, but yet they just feel like they can't watch it because their mindset is one way, but then when they're acting, it's another mindset. So I
It's
think
another
that's really
mindset. And I think like the, you know, all the behind the scenes, like the actual people that, you know, versus the character, like it's the nicest group of people that you know, I've worked on with the pig killer and the scalper. They're the nicest people you could imagine. Like it's
yeah,
really like, it's not, you know, it's the complete opposite of what you're seeing in the film. Um, which is, it's just so interesting. Yeah, I
yeah,
agree.
yeah, totally. So my next question is, I mean, we have a couple of legends in the film as well. Robert Miano is excellent as Clementine's
Yes.
dad, and then we have Kelly Maroney as Clementine's mother in the afterlife. Did you get to converse with them on the set at all?
You know, I know Robert. I'm friends with Robert, and I love Robert. He always brings this, I feel like, this kind of old school New Yorker to everything he does, really.
I know
I
about old school New Yorker. I'm originally
Yeah.
from New York, so I know
Yeah,
about
there
that
you go.
whole
I
thing.
really, I have a great appreciation for that about him. And he brings that, you know, not only in his personality, but in his work as well, which is so, fun for me. I just find him like, he was great to work with. I had some scenes with him in The Pig Killer, and those were some of my favorites working with him. Um, and as, yeah, behind the scenes, I mean, he's, you know, he'd be sitting there playing chess for hours upon hours, and he's a really great guy. Kelly Maroney, I didn't really get to know, so yeah.
And I don't know what it is, but I think Chad has a thing of killing Bai Ling, because she was the first like major victim in Pig Killer. Now she's the first like major victim in Scalper. And you know, I will say I'm describing this movie as Maniac meets the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, because what really disturbs me is the fact that the killer ends up wearing her face, and that's what freaks me out. Like, and then seeing the scene where Clementine has the vision of her of Biley without her face, and she's talking to her. I
Yeah,
that part gave me the chills. Like when I first
yeah,
saw it, I'm going like I just gave me the chills, and to see her do that was just mind blowing. And so I don't know how you felt about that, but that's just
yeah,
crazy.
absolutely. I got chills when you were saying that as well. It's very, that's such a just the concept of that. I don't know what this says about my mind, but I had a dream the other night. It was a similar thing where someone was wearing someone else's face, and it was, I don't really know much more, can't remember much more than that, but it was horrifying. And that concept, again, like I used to kind of like to watch more of that kind of psychological, it's not Silence of the Lambs, but what was the one where Red Dragon?
Yeah.
It was Red Dragon. That kind of a thing. It really kind of intrigued me at one point. Now I'm like, it just, I don't know if I can go there, but yeah, it is very, disturbing, of course, but intriguing in that aspect, with what happened in the Scalper and that, yeah.
Yeah.
Chilling. Yeah, it is chilling.
Yeah, I think fans are gonna get like if they're seeing horror for the first time, they're gonna get chills seeing those scenes especially. But I think that the horror gorehounds are definitely gonna get a ride with this one. If they like Pig Killer, definitely gonna like this one for sure. That's how I feel.
Yeah. And have you seen Nightcrawler?
That one I have not yet. That one's still
Okay.
that one I think is under my radar. Yeah.
Yeah, that one's the one. I wasn't involved with that, but that one's the prequel to Scalper, I guess so.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'll have to check that one out. So what's next for you? Are you gonna be working with Chad again, or you're gonna be doing? Oh, I can tell.
Yeah, I mean he's got another project on the go. So hopefully I can be working with him on that. I'd love to get involved again. And yeah, I'm shooting a short independent this month, and really I'm working a lot with the Actors Studio right now. Just on my audition, and just doing what I can there, which is such a gift for me. And it's not for the public, of course, but it's honing the craft, and it's very valuable and important to me. So that's also a big part of my life. Yeah.
All right. Well, awesome. Well, everyone, you gotta check out Scalper on January 16th, and you also got check out Pig Killer, which is now available because I gotta tell you, Kate really brings her A game to both projects. And so you're definitely going to want to see more of her. I can't wait to see more of you, quite frankly. I cannot wait to see what you bring up with next. So I'm looking
I
forward to that.
appreciate it. Well, thanks for having me today.
All right. Well, you take care and you have a good day.
Okay, you as well.